Breath of the Wild. One of my favourite Zelda games now, and definitely one of my all-time favourite video games. This game amazes me so damn much. I'm still learning new things about the game over 2 years after its release, still discovering new areas and still figuring out why I love the game so much. And recently something hit me that has actually been there within the game this whole time, but I hadn't really made much of it. And that thing is the music and sound design of the game. Thinking about it now, it was so amazing and fitting for the game that I didn't really pick up on it. It immersed me into the world so much that it just felt natural to me. But I took a step back recently and took a look, well, a listen, of the music and sound design of the game, and it has to be one of the greatest musical works I have ever seen. Heard. I might even go as far to say that the soundtrack of Breath of the Wild is better than the god-tier soundtracks that are Super Mario Galaxies, The Wind Wakers, Twilight Princess, Ocarina of Time, Hello Kitty Racers, and so many other huge games that get great recognition for their music. But Breath of the Wild takes all of that to a whole nother level. And today, I wanted to talk about my thoughts on Breath of the Wild's sound design, music, and everything that immersed me into the world. I've noticed a lot of fans disliked Breath's music, and a lot loved it, along with some who were in the middle, and that inspired me to want to talk about my take on how they went about the music and sound design of the game. So I asked myself the question, is Breath of the Wild's music and sound design one of, if not the best video game musical score and sound design ever? To begin this discussion, let's talk about the obvious things. Well, the stuff that you'd assume is obvious. Firstly, the simplicity and fitting nature of the music. 4 words. I adore Breath's music. It's honestly undescribable at times. One moment it can seem all peaceful and elegant, then a mechanical menace known as a guardian comes around the corner and that one piano note plays and it's so good! And I haven't even got into the secret references of the music yet. I've been way too excited for this video, guys. As I was saying, it's undescribable at times, and I mean that in the sense that the team behind the game's choice of notes and style of music are perfect picks. No matter where you go in the game, every area and location has fitted music to it, and it's very subtle at times. The higher up you go in the game, the more soft and peaceful the music gets, as it is a lot more peaceful up there with not much going on. And then when you're in areas like fields or hilly areas, it's a little less subtle, but very relaxing, putting your mind at ease, relaxing you if you like, and the game does this on purpose. It does this so once you feel like you're actually in the area, immersed into the game if you like, so that when a threat arrives, the music can have a sudden change to fit the level of threat. A good example of this is the difference between running into a bokoblin and a guardian. Bokoblins aren't the biggest threat in the world, and relatively easy to deal with, so the music only ever so slightly picks up, but with guardians, the music drops. One heavy note hits and rings all around you. Then the music rapidly picks up, letting you know you're in battle. That change from peaceful, slow music that blends in with the sounds of nature to the sharp and hard-hitting guardian note that gives you that feeling of urgency and awareness of danger is a phenomenal effect in my opinion. I'd honestly have to say that some past Zelda games couldn't do this, as a lot of their enemy battle themes were the same for all overworld enemies, or fairly similar anyway. And the overworld themes were not as relaxed as Breath of the Wild's, so whilst you know a battle was about to take place, the urgency and fear factor just wasn't as present for me. So as far as the simplicity and fitting nature of it goes, Breath of the Wild outdoes any game in my opinion. I've never played a game that hooked me in so well to the point where I hardly noticed the music, as the music itself just fits so well with the area I'm in. But there is also the nature and wildlife aspects of things to discuss, as they play a really huge role, believe it or not. The sound design of nature in Breath of the Wild is the perfect blend to go with the music, and believe it or not, this sounds like the tree branches and leaves rustling against each other, the wind gently blowing through the grass, and even Link's footsteps are all in real time. With every step Link takes, the footstep sound plays as he steps. In all kinds of games over the years, details as fine as this were hardly ever included, and I personally love that. Even smaller and somewhat unnoticeable things like the sounds shields and swords make when clanging against each other changes ever so slightly based on what they are made of and their size. That's an insane detail to add, and I love it. Almost everything in this game is timed to perfection sound-wise, and I admire that attention to sound design, as many games would easily get away without it, and yeah, Breath of the Wild probably could have too, but no. They decided to put an insane amount of attention towards the sound design and music. To add to that, as I mentioned earlier, there is also little references within the music. Many tracks sped up are actually songs from past games. Notable examples are Selmie's home atop the Hebra Mountains. Within there, you can actually hear some of the classic Zelda home theme. The Temple of Time on the Great Plateau has the Song of Time in there, and within Hyrule Field, Zelda's Lullaby can be heard too. The point is, the amount of small details added into Breath is impeccable, and in my eyes, beats any game out there, and that's tough for me to say. I love video game music. I even listen to soundtracks to write and edit my videos. As I wrote this script, I was listening to Harvest Moon 64's soundtrack, but no matter what game I look to, from my point of view and my years of gaming, Breath still outdoes them all. Now, there have been arguments made from some fans to say that it's not really Zelda music, as past Zelda games tended to have music like this. Or this. Big and bold themes full of life, keywords being full of life, which is something Breath of the Wild isn't. I mean, come on, picture yourself racing through Hyrule Field on a horse, and then a Hyrule Field theme like this plays. Ooh. Twilight Princess is my all-time favourite game, but even I can admit, music like that would never fit for Breath of the Wild. It would break the immersion Breath offers, and it doesn't match with the world you're within. Bold and loud themes like that belong in a game full of life, like Twilight Princess. I suppose it could be somewhat hard to adjust to such a new take on the music when you're used to big adventurous themes, and even then, the quiet and elegant tracks from older games are pretty bold in comparison to Breath of the Wild's. Now of course, it's perfectly okay if you genuinely dislike the music from Breath of the Wild, but something else I believe happens with many players, and hell, call this a theory or conspiracy theory if you like, but I believe one of the reasons many fans say they dislike the soundtrack and music is due to how immersed they can become. This happened with me. The magical music and sound design made me feel like I was in Hyrule. The birds chirping, the leaves from the trees rustling together, and the soft piano keys periodically ringing with the wind of the wild, paired with the music that fits for every single area, from the friendly giant-like feels you get from Goron City to the heavenly theme of Zora's Domain. The game's music fits so well that it sometimes goes unnoticed. But hey, that's just me. To sort of round everything off, I feel like if you still feel Breath of the Wild's music isn't too great, or even if you do, go back on the game and try not to focus so much on doing the quests or activities so much, and take a few moments to really listen and check out some of those smaller details, like the way items clash against each other, or how every little sound is unique. Maybe I'm just a bit of a geek here, but I admire and love Breath of the Wild's music, sound design, and immersion so much. So I asked myself the question, is Breath of the Wild's music and sound design one of, if not the best video game musical score and sound design ever? Oh yeah, that was, what the whole video was about. Yeah, I think it's very fair to say that the soundtrack and sound design of Breath of the Wild is the best, or at least one of the best scores in video game history. What do you guys think? Would you agree that the attention to detail and fitting music could make Breath of the Wild one of the best games in the sound department? Be sure to let me know in the comments. As always, here is the people who managed to guess this video correctly with the teaser post I put out. Be sure to hop in our Discord server, follow me on Twitter, or check my YouTube community tab to see teasers for upcoming videos and have a chance to be featured in said video. Huge thank you to my amazing and wonderful Patreon supporters who really help me run the channel and continue to produce videos like these as often as possible. So special thanks to Hexovian, Lenarco1, Kiyatala, Karika, Safri Sky, Daniel Kilman, and Neru's Love 13. I highly appreciate your generous support, and it means the world to me. Thank you. Again, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and until the next time, I've been Hyro Gamer.